Out of politics, joining us on set, Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA, the host of the Charlie Kirk Show. I only follow 200 people, I think. That's not that many.
I'm honored.
And
he doesn't even follow me anymore. He's literally, he's blocked me.
But you know what people do?
What's that?
They send me your stuff
to needle you.
To tweet me.
I know.
So, Charlie, we know each other. I said we're going to have you on. So the people that were calling you to find out, what your views are, they said, what is the rationale for having Charlie Kirk on? So here's what I sent back. The unprecedented success of Trump's first 200 days in sharp contrast to the mainstream media narrative of chaos.
I love that.
I was kidding. It was a big, beautiful response.
You want me to laugh? Whatever it was.
It was a bit. No,
no,
I'm saying, in every jest,
right,
there is some truth, and I think you would argue, from where you're sitting, that's not a false statement.
Whether it be trade deals, whether it be where we just talk economics, the state of the economy, the country's hot right now. I mean, the market's up. We saw the inflation numbers yesterday were far better than experts would have estimated. And I mean, look, he got his one big beautiful bill passed, and I think we're only starting to see the economy heat up.
Okay, so can I ask one question?
You can.
And this is the take him literally or take him literally, take him
Trump.
figuratively question, right?
Okay.
Because we've all been debating for the last several months on this show and everywhere whether we're supposed to have our hair on fire or not about the tariffs and whether the tariffs are going to impact the economy, right? Yesterday, the president went after Goldman Sachs because that economist had said that he thought there'd be a recession as a result of the tariffs. Now, his original report, if you go back and look at it, was based on the idea that China might be at, 145% tariff rates. And so that calculation, the sort of the hair on fire thing at that point was, if he actually does what he says he's going to do, yes, the economy might do that. It didn't do that, in part because he didn't do that. And so what is, to the extent that you're like a mind reader of the president. What should the business community, how should the business community think about what he says versus what he's going to do?
This is not complicated. He wants what's best for America. It's not ideological. And he wants what's best both for capital and labor. And he wants the market to succeed. He wants wages to go up. And look, you look at the trade deals. The only reason we got the trade deals, which are inarguably wins and victories across the board, whether it be Japan, Philippines, EU, I think we will see a very good China deal, I hope, in the next couple of months, is because you use tariffs as a way to bring people to the table. And tariffs have largely been used as two things, national security components or as revenue generators. He has now created a third category, which is we're going to use it as a negotiation tactic. And he has the whole world spinning, and they're coming to the Oval Office wanting to get a deal done, wanting to come into the U.S. markets. And he's also recalibrated the way that we are financing the government. And a lot of the experts would say, hey, if you have any tariffs at all, and just to push back a little bit, it's not just the 145% tariff. They said, hey, if you have a 10% tariff, we're going to see massive inflation. If you have a 20%, we've now had 90 days of tariffs in place across the board. And the report yesterday, and the market responded, because the market doesn't lie. The inflation just wasn't there. The structural inflation was not there. And if it comes in the next couple months, then obviously we'll correct it. But the prices have not raised.
There really is a dichotomy of people in this country. Half the people, maybe not half, but there are a lot of people that look at Trump and say, you know what? Like Charlie, I think he's a negotiator. I've seen what he's done in the past. I think that he knows what he's doing. That's what they say. Whereas other people say, are you out of your mind completely? This guy has no idea. He's bankrupted.
There's individuals who can hold both ideas in their mind. By the way,
did you think he knew what he was doing with negotiations?
I thought he might be able to.
The art of the deal. He's written books. He's a businessman.
How far he'd get.
Because no one really thought we were staying at 100. No one thought we were going to stay at 140%.
Look, the question from an economic perspective on tariffs is you may collect the tariff on one end, and the question is what happens to the real economy on the other end.
And so far we have not seen.
And so far we haven't seen it yet.
It was a major, catastrophic prediction, right? The panicins, the whole world's going to fall apart. And we just haven't seen that. And I think there does need to be a little contrition by the economic ruling class, hey, back when we were saying this was going to be the worst thing for the global markets ever, it turns out what it has done is it recentered America as the center point of the world economy, that people wanted to invest in this country.
And the best case scenario is that these countries, it's important to them that they continue to trade with us, and they're eating some of the tariffs, and they're not directly paying for it, but that's where the pain is.
And I don't want to speak for him, but I'm going to make a bet that if David Solomon were sitting here today, this is the CEO of Goldman Sachs.
I've met him.
Right. That there's part of David that likes some of the policies that this president has put forward around taxes.
More of them, not just some, most.
Right. And I'm sure he hates the fact that he is called out by the president and told to go back to being a full-time DJ or whatever the president said
told he is a good
yesterday.
DJ.
He is a good DJ. And so I think that's why I said it's not just that there's one side of the world that thinks one thing and one side of the world that I think there's actually individuals who can hold both ideas in their head.
Charlie,
and by the way, are confused.
Have you ever felt anybody that is even a quasi supporter of President Trump? And maybe I put myself in that category. There are plenty of times where you're uncomfortable trying to defend some of the things that are. Have you ever felt uncomfortable with anything?
I'm uncomfortable defending some of the things I've said a couple years ago. But look, I just look at results, and I look at this is a guy that goes to work every single day and produces wins for the American people. And look, real wages are up this year for working people, $1,100. We just saw the report that we're starting to see crude go down a little bit, and we need that definitely to have energy prices go down. Capital expenditures are going up, which is a leading prerequisite for economic growth. And I get all the objections. I just want to say one final thing, though, is that I think that we need to rework our mental model when it comes to Donald Trump, especially in people that are running companies, because they're looking too much on the flow on X, and they're not looking at the macroeconomic, geopolitical victory that President Trump is driving every single day, which is recentering America as the forefront leader of the world economy.